Hi, I'm Kat, and this is our Daily Tarot. I hope you all are doing well. We are on the winter solstice today, which means in the northern hemisphere, we are going to be seeing a returning of light by just a couple minutes every day, and we're also entering into wintertime, which is the coldest season. So while we draw inward and pull ourselves inward, we're also pulling in our energies so that we can put forth and grow in those new directions in the spring. Now, we're also in this time where we just went through this full moon, and full moons can reveal a lot. You know, they can reveal a lot emotionally. They can also reveal a lot within ourselves. What's so interesting about this full moon is that it was really close to where the North Node is right now. And so in that way, it kind of showed us where we want to go in life and where we feel called to go. And there's been some revealing in this space, and some of that might be overwhelming, which brings me to today's opening card. The opening energy that we have that came in today is the Nine of Swords. So this person is experiencing a bit of overwhelm. You can see that they're lying in their bed. They have their hands on their face, and they're kind of sleepless. And it's kind of like this completion of what we see, like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to get out of this situation? Or, oh my gosh, will this thought ever get out of my head? And it's this idea of being kind of imprisoned by our mental center. And it's interesting, you know, because we forget when we're in that space, in that mind space, that there's so many more options as far as where we can possibly put our attention. Like, you could put your attention on the bottom of your feet, the soles of your feet, or wherever clothing is contacting your skin. You can check your surface area and see if you feel any breeze or any sensation of heat or coolness. You can take your attention out of that mental space, even though you may feel imprisoned by it. It's so interesting because the mind has this like place of certainty, which is kind of ridiculous because depending on our perspective and which angle we actually look at something, we may be able to see something in a new way that will make us question that certainty, or at least add some depth to it and range to it that maybe we weren't able to identify and qualify from that one specific point of view. But what we often do is we put that certainty on our own limitations in ourselves or in certain situations in our lives. And there may be something that the mind is fixated on that isn't moving or that we can't change and shift. And there is this sense of overwhelm. What's so interesting is this card came in upside down today. So it's like we're able to see things from a new light, and something was revealed. And it's one thing to consider that once you can see it, like when you see where the mind gets triggered and where the mind gets fixated, we can just observe it and, you know, then put our attention on something else, because where we put our attention can create a tension in our body and also prevent our energy from flowing in different directions. So if you feel like you actually are feeling in your body a lot of tension and angst, and it's being stirred up by the mind, it's useful to bring yourself into a different center, mainly your body, and do some kind of physical exercise or physical exertion, right? Because we have these centers. We have the mental center and the emotional center and the physical body, and then we also have our spirit. And it's so wonderful when they all are working in alignment, because they are integrated, and yet we can get fixed in one of these centers and fixated on them, in a lot of ways prevent our flow in our life. So in a lot of ways, some of us may be looking at this because something may have been revealed to us during this last full moon based on where we get stuck, maybe emotionally or mentally. The challenge that we have for today is the King of Cups. So this is a fixed water energy. It's like we have a lot going on underneath the surface. And again, it brings us back to that sense of certainty and depth. Like, I feel this way, and it is righteous of me to feel this way. I am just, and it's so interesting because this fixed water energy is associated with Scorpion energy. It's like elementally and zodiac wise, like that's what Scorpio as a sign is it's fixed water. And we get this feeling of iciness when like a Scorpio is wronged, because they like have this edge, right? And yet ice can be melted, right? It can be melted with warmth. It can be melted upon deeper examination. But it's also so interesting to consider that a lot of times emotions can make things seem a lot bigger than they actually are. Like quite literally, if you go swimming in a swimming pool and look underwater, or in the ocean for that matter, things they'll appear bigger than they actually are. And so it's important for us to give each other this perspective and this range and this space to work things out and to speak things through, because we're holding on to a lot underneath the surface. Now, the way we're going to get through that challenge of that fixed water energy is actually the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles is an earth-based energy that's all about like taking your time, like putting your feet on the ground, thinking practically. So if there was something that happened in your life that was a big shift or a big upset, and there's something that's still emotionally or mentally stuck on it, this reminds us to think practically. Like there is quite literally so many different strings going through in this world, like in this tapestry. There's so many different webs and like threads being woven through that we don't know quite yet what's coming in and why one thread color was taken out and why another one is going to be stitched in. We won't have the full picture until some time is given to us. And this is reminding us to be practical with where we put our attention, where we put our efforts, and to not skip steps. Like we may want to jump over our knees. We may want to get to that end result like yesterday, but we can't. We have to go through this experience. We have to work through it. We have to, as my teacher would say, cross your T's and dot your I's. You have to move through it slowly in a very practical way. However, the ultimate outcome of the day is the Eight of Wands. So the ultimate outcome of the day is that things are still up in the air. So as much as we want to say that we are certain, we are upset that this situation worked out this way, and we are all wrapped up in it and identified with it, quite literally in the mind, consider that things are in motion. There's a lot that's still up in the air, and it is quite likely that something is going to come in today that is going to remind you of that. That time is an interesting magician in a way that it can throw things at us that are very unexpected, and we can get swept into new things. And so it's important to watch where we get swept into, and if that is ultimately, putting us in a place of mental imprisonment, or if it's actually sweeping us away into the unknown, because I assure you that what is out there in the unknown has a lot more potential than what your mind would like to paint. So I hope you're getting through it and you're taking time to make yourself some tea and meditate. And I'm actually going to be doing a meditation tonight. I'm going to record it and put it on YouTube, and just it's going to be a chakra meditation. It's instead of going from the root to the crown, we're actually going to be letting go of a lot of stuff, so that we're creating space to let the light in as we go into and prepare for the new year. So if you want to check out that meditation, check out my YouTube channel a little later today, and it's at Delaney's Well. You can search for me or for that name, and I will see you again soon. I send you so much love. Mwah. Bye for now.